The other thing is, through the magical world of Facebook, there is the comments that we're outlawing home businesses, which is not at all what's in there. I encourage you to actually read the ordinance rather than read Facebook, and you'll see that it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with being more proactive.
And the meeting for that is going to be next Thursday, correct?
The comp board meeting is going to be next Thursday. Okay. Correct. Yes. Thanks. Thank you, David. All right. So with that business out of the way, let me turn it over for the quasi-judicial items.
Yeah, you're gonna do the rules of evidence first, right?
Good evening, Mayor. So for the quasi-judicial hearings, all witnesses that are going to testify on any item in the portion of the agenda will need to be sworn. Participants who are members of the general public need not be sworn, and they will not be subject to any cross-examination if not sworn. However, the council shall not assign any unsworn testimony the same weight or credibility as sworn testimony in deliberations. Again, here, the applicant has the proof, and after the applicant's concluding remarks, the hearing will be closed and no additional testimony, material argument will be allowed unless the council chooses to request that additional testimony. After that, the town council members will then deliberate. All evidence relied upon by reasonably prudent persons in the conduct of their affairs may be considered in these proceedings, regardless of whether such evidence would be admissible in a court. Hearsay evidence may supplement or explain other evidence, but shall not alone support a conclusion unless it would be admissible over objection in court. The material in the town council agenda will be considered as evidence without authentication. Anyone representing an organization must present written evidence of his or her authority to speak on behalf of that organization, and each person who appears during a public hearing shall identify himself or herself and give their address, and if appearing on behalf of an organization, state the name and mailing address of the organization. No notice shall be required if a hearing is continued to a fixed date, time, and place. Any applicant shall have the right to request and be granted one continuance. However, all subsequent continuances shall be granted at the discretion of the council and only upon good cause shown.
Great. Thank you, Richard. All right. Richard, so,
what? Swear everybody in.
Yeah. Do we have the applicant
I think
here?
just Jeff, or
is it just? Well, we don't know if the applicant or anybody. Anybody that plans on testifying in any of the quasi-judicial hearings, please stand up.
okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You may be seated.
All right. The first item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a plat to divide 4.6 gross acres into two single-family home parcels. A couple of things are happening within this property. There were two lots. One of them was undersized. One of them was oversized, and so basically they're shifting the lot line so that both of them are buildable. Currently, there's one home under construction on the larger of the two. The plat vacates an internal 15-foot right-of-way, which doesn't go anywhere or serve any purpose. And there's a canal that runs from northwest to southeast through the property. And they meet all the requirements after subtracting out the canal and all other easements. That's the total of my report. There are no conditions. We're just recommending approval.
Thank you, Jeff.
And Mayor, before we get into the reading of resolutions, we need everybody to be polled and disclose any ex parte communications on these items.
None from there.
I don't have any.
None here. None. None.
Okay.
Debbie's going to lead the resolution.
This is a resolution in final order of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving application number PL 7025, the MP Holdings plat comprising 2 single-family dwelling lots on 4.6 gross acres, generally located on the south side of Southwest 48th Street, 1,000 feet east of Mather Boulevard, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution and providing an effective date.
Very good.
Is the applicant present or the applicant's agent? Okay. Please approach the mic and state your name, and yes, she's sworn in.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Elizabeth Surukdisian on behalf of Police Land Surveyors, representing the owner. And I really don't have anything more to say than what Jeff has said. He always has my back. So I'm here just for questions.
Great, thank you. Yeah, is there a motion on this item?
Second.
You have a motion, a second on it. All right.
Well, there were no questions for the applicant?
No.
Okay, so we'll open it up to public comment.
Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, public comment closed.
Motion second, deliberations.
Is there any council deliberation on this? Any concerns?
I have a question for
Sure.
Jeff. Jeff, we're vacating a right-of-way that goes to nowhere. It's basically useless. And this is all being done at the same time as the subdivision of the property.
Right.
How do we do that? I mean, is it two separate things we've got to vote on, or it's just one combined, or?
Good question. Since this is a platted right-of-way, the act of platting over it vacates it. So it's not a separate item. If it was only a vacation and they weren't platting, or if it wasn't a platted right-of-way, then it would have to be done by a separate instrument, and you'd need an ordinance vacating it. But in this case, by plat, you can vacate a platted right-of-way by platting over it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does anything need to be done at the county level, or this is it?
No, the county has to approve the plat as well,
That's what I thought.
and that will finalize the vacation.
Perfect, thank you.
I can just add one little comment, and it's kind of very incidental to this property, but important to the rest of the town. I asked, and there is no, I asked Russell if there was any equestrian businesses on this property before dividing it, and there is none. That's a big concern of mine, is equestrian facilities.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, David. All right, any other council questions, comments? Seeing none,
Call the roll.
I think we can, yeah, please call the roll.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Congratulations.
All right, item number 4.
Read the reso. You read the reso, and then I'll ask for ex parte.
This is a resolution in final order of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving application number PL 6424, Fernandez Villas plot comprising 5 single-family dwelling lots on 10.4 acres, generally located at the northwest quadrant of Southwest 178 Avenue and its intersection with Sterling Road, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution and providing for an effective date.
And Mayor, at this time, would ask to poll the council to see if there was any ex parte communications regarding this resolution.
None.
No.
None.
No.
Okay. And Jeff, are you going to present?
Thanks. Give a quick introduction to this one. This is just short of 10 and a half acres, and the plat would create 5 lots, so just over 2 acres each. This one's a little bit more complicated than you typically see, because there are existing improvements on this overall property today. And so that's where some of the conditions is that we're going to recommend for you to attach to the approval come in. But essentially, there's a garage structure, a detached garage structure in the northwest corner, lot 1. There's an existing house on what would be lot 4, and there, at least at the time that I last saw it, there was a storage building on a portion of Lot 3. So essentially, where we want to be is that the storage building gets removed or relocated somewhere so that it's a legal accessory building. Number 2, that the garage building on Lot 1 is going to be converted into a home, and we just want to put a timeline on that so that it doesn't persist forever as a unpermitted accessory structure without a principal use. The house on Lot 4, together with all of its improvements, meet all code requirements. So when this plat is approved and recorded, there won't be any nonconformities there. And in fact, some of the lot lines jog a little bit just to accommodate that house. And then the other feature is Lot 1. All of the lots have access to either 178th or Sterling, except for Lot 2 in the northwest corner, which is landlocked. And so there's a driveway and utility easement that goes through Lot 1 and goes through Lot 2, connects to Lot 1, and gives access. And that meets the newer requirements that we have. We have the minimum width of these types of easements has been increased by the council over the last approximately a year ago, and it meets those requirements. South Broward Drainage District has approved the plat, and we recommend approval with the following conditions. Number 1, that the petitioner, its successors, or signs demolish the middle storage building on the future Lot 3 prior to the issuance of any building or engineering permit for the plat. Number 2, that the petitioner, its successors, or signs must obtain all requisite permits for either converting the garage building on Lot 1 into a single-family home or constructing a separate single-family home on Lot 1 prior to the town issuing building permits for vertical construction on any of the other lots, 2, 3, and 5. The purpose of this condition is to ensure that the existing detached garage building doesn't become a long-term impermissible principal use once the plat is recorded and that the building occupies its own lot. Today, as one parcel, it's an accessory building to the existing house that would be on Lot 3. The remodeled garage building or new single-family residence on Lot 1 must be issued a certificate of occupancy before a CO is issued for any of Lots 2, 3, or 5. A shared driveway maintenance agreement shall be recorded in the Broward County records once approved as to form by the town attorney. And we actually have that in possession and has been reviewed and is ready to go. So those are the 3 conditions that we're recommending that be attached to this approval.
Motion to approve with the stipulations?
Is the applicant, sorry, do you have any questions?
I just wanted to have the applicant here and just to make sure that they were okay with those conditions.
Hello again, Elizabeth Strugdisian, Police Land Surveyors, 5381. I didn't say the address before. Nob Hill Road, Sunrise, Florida. I brought back up with me all the entire family. They're excited to live here and they are ready to go. I have let them know the conditions of approval and they comply with it. They agree with it. So, do you have anything to say?
If I may.
Please come up.
One of the Fernandez daughters.
Very
Thank
good.
you, Elizabeth. Good evening to everyone. My name is Melissa Armenteros. I am one of the 3 Fernandez daughters and 1 boy, and we're fine with all the conditions. We understand it. I am an attorney myself. My family is very proud of becoming part of the Southwest Ranches community, and we're here ready to comply with whatever you decide for us, and we're just happy to be part of this community.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Motion approved with staff stipulations?
Second.
Oh, Gary, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I do have a question. Jeff, the timeline you mentioned, do you have a timeline, or has it not been determined, or what? I know you mentioned it wouldn't go on forever, but
Right. Rather than putting a specific timeline on it, I thought we'd be a little bit more flexible, knowing that they obviously are planning to build, and just require that these things happen before building permits are issued or engineering permits of any kind. So that's, it's not a fixed time limit.
Okay.
But it's a procedural kind of time limit.
And Jeff, I got a question. Are there any equestrian facilities on this property that will be adversely affected by this proposal?
No, as far as I know, the whole property is a nursery, so there are no equestrian facilities.
And they have no problem with roosters?
We discussed that at length.
Withdraw the question.
Jeff, I have a question. On Lot 1 and Lot 2, their only access is going to be off of Sterling. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? Let's see, we're good?
Public comment?
Yeah. Is there any public comment on this item?
Newell Hollingsworth, 199th Avenue, and I have been sworn. My question is on the drainage. You have the one lot that's in the very back, which it does not access onto a road, which would have swales and drainage. How is that drainage of that property going to get to the swales on the roads in order to get to the canals? Thank you.
Thanks, Noel. Any other public comment or questions?
So I'm Michael Montgomery, and I have mixed feelings about this one.
Can you just state your address as well?
5900 Southwest 178.
Thank you.
Can't hear you. You got to
Turn the mic. There we go. Thank you.
So on the one hand, when a person owns property, I think they should own it and be able to do what they want with it. On the other hand, from the very beginning of our town, that logo and that motto has been our motto. And it says, preserving our rural lifestyle. In context, adjacent to this property is another 10 lots that were added in a similar proceeding like this one. I don't know if you recall that, but it's right next door. So, with the thought of preserving our rural lifestyle, I understand at least some of this land has an agriculture exemption. And so you're talking about taking agriculture exempt land and adding 4 home sites onto it, in addition to the 10 new ones that were put right next door. So the traffic on 178 keeps increasing, and I'm just wondering, when do we pause the adding density in order to preserve our rural lifestyle? And I'm glad I'm not one of you guys, and I pray for wisdom for all of you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, public comment closed. You know, I want to address that last comment because I relate to what you're saying, and here in the ranches, we, you know, many of us, almost, I would say, well, I'll say many of us, probably nearly all of us moved out here because of the space, the peace, the quiet, to raise our families. And, but there's also, as you mentioned, you fully understand the situation, I can tell. You know, there's property rights. And these folks bought the property with the property rights, and they're doing what it is. What we as the ranches, what we as the council can do to protect, and what we have always protect, and I believe we will continue to protect, is that we are very committed to not reducing property sizes below what is currently in the zoning today. And this meets that zoning, and so those lots will never be broken into smaller pieces. But yes, I get what you're saying. And there will be more traffic. But the other side to that is I'm looking out there, I'm seeing some wonderful families out there, and I go back to when I personally moved out here, I have 3 daughters. My wife and I have 3 daughters, and we moved out here, and we were looking for a very special place to raise our 3 daughters. They're now all grown, married with kids of their own, and we could not have picked a better place to raise a family. So I'm excited for the families that I see out there, but I get what you're saying. So it's a balance, and the balance that we've really struck is that the size of the properties are still significantly larger than anything else you'll find around in Broward County, and we're going to stick to that, and it's not going to get any smaller. So, but I really appreciate your comment. I appreciate that you came out, said that. Thank you. All right, any other comments? Yeah, David.
I have a question. I don't know whether it's for Jeff or Richard. Are either of you able to do just a brief summary on Bert Harris?
I mean, all I can say is, as far as Florida is one of the strongest property rights states that are out there, bulk of my practice has been eminent domain, protecting private property rights, and municipalities and state agencies, when they impact private property rights, they're held accountable. There's got to be public purpose, necessity, et cetera. And the last thing we would want to do is ever open the town into unnecessary litigation when we have a bunch of unnecessary litigation coming our way.
So let me follow up with that. So, and I'm just trying to address the inquiry in a different way. So basically, Tallahassee has tied our hands on this?
Well, I mean, Tallahassee is, I mean, it's in our Constitution, sure. Bert Harris, everything, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily Tallahassee, but there's waves behind that. U.S. Constitution, state Constitution, private property rights, and it goes back. But
Right.
yes, essentially,
Thank you.
correct.
That's my inquiry. Thanks.
Mayor, if I could, I'm going to look at this a little differently. I know that there's a lot of residents in Southwest Ranches that own 5, 10 acres and so. And I would say that a majority of them, because the town's been here so long, are getting up close to my age, all right? And if they have a right to divide that property into smaller, and they're meeting all the specifications, like you said, that the town said, if they have 5 acres and they divide it into 2, 2.5, they live on 2.5, they sell that other 2.5, and at 75 years old, you get $2 million, you live comfortable the rest of your life. I don't agree with some of the houses being built. Some of them are not attractive at all. But a young couple, and you see who's buying these houses, or buying these properties. It's the young people who want the same open spaces as you do. And it's in the neighborhood. My neighborhood, you can't build on less than an acre. In most of these neighborhoods, it's 2.5 acres, like we're doing here, 2 acres. So, we can't be mad at these people for selling their property and giving up the rule, because that's what they invested in 30 years ago. That's their livelihood. That's what they counted on, So let's don't get mad at the people. Let's just welcome those that are buying it and tell them welcome to the Southwest Ranches, all right? Thank you.
Just a quick comment to support Mike. I mean, I get what he's saying as well. At our budget hearing the other night, we talked about how I believe there's 1,097 acres left. By approving both of these, I meant 1,097 acres of agricultural land. That's it. That's what's left in our town. That's what's on the rolls, the county's rolls as agriculturally exempt property. This takes it down another 15 acres. Every time we do this, the number of ag properties are getting fewer and fewer. The amount of ag dedicated acreage is getting fewer and fewer. And we need to keep that in mind, because keep us rural. I get the property rights. I mean, I obviously want to preserve my property rights, but that's the consequence, in my view. Thank you.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what you were saying, there's one thing we have zero control over, and that's the marketplace.
Right.
And the value of the land is just going exorbitant out here, as everybody knows. I've seen it up to $1 million an acre, unimproved, and depending on the location. So it's a bust as you always say, that doesn't have a reverse, but we can stop it as best we can. This plat, right, or this division right here, meets the criteria, the legal criteria to divide, so I don't see any way we could deny this with conditions,
Yeah.
you know, on something like this. And I walk past this place, I live there.
Yeah.
So I walk by this property.
Both these properties.
Probably 100 times a year, and seen it change. It was a nursery at one point 15 years ago that caught fire and shut down Mather Boulevard for about 10 hours. Okay, well, the firefighters basically watched it burn and tried to control it, you know, and then it became something else and something else, you know, so it's had some history to it, you know, as far as that goes, but they're petitioners within their rights to I mean, they just meet it in some cases, but and we have an obligation to be fair to everybody.
We do.
That's what we're doing.
We do. Well said. Yeah, so it's, well said by everybody. You know, we understand there's two sides to it. I'm excited from the standpoint that 2 acres is still a good-sized piece of property. It's, you know, you put that 2 acres in almost any other community, and you can have an apartment complex with, 150, 200, 250 people there, and here we're going to have, 5 families. So but, the world changes. We just do our best to preserve as best we can. All right.
I had a question.
Well, come on up then.
I had it. I told you.
Okay. Let's see.
drainage.
What was his question?
About drainage.
Oh, drainage. Thank you, Noel. So anybody have,
That's a Jeff question.
Elizabeth seems eager to answer, so.
It's just that I think I have the answer.
All
Mr.
right.
Newell is welcome to see the plat and see that the drainage district made us do all sorts of surface water management areas. So the plat's very clear on how it's going to drain.
okay, okay. All right. Any other comment on this? Seeing none, do we have a motion and a second on this? Yes. Can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozinski?
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes?
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Welcome. All right. We have a couple of proclamations tonight. You all are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you'd like. Welcome to the Southwest Ranches, and look forward to having your families grow and develop here. So, absolutely. Sure, why not? Come on up. This breaks all the rules, okay?
We all basically live there, so traffic will stay the same. 100% on that. We're building a barn because my kids are obsessed with horses and cows and chickens and all that. And I think Two Sisters will probably continue on the lot 4, I believe it is, because we've owned that nursery since my brother was born, and he's 21 years old. So I hope that helps all the neighbors and their questions. And we'll do a big open house so everyone can come over.
Awesome. There you go.
Can't wait.
Very nice. All right. So y'all are welcome to stay. You're also welcome to go if you'd like. So, all right. We have a couple of proclamations this evening, so I am going to jump into those. So we have one. Is the gentleman here this evening? Is Evan here? All right. Evan, thank you for being here this evening to receive this proclamation, and thanks for bringing it to our attention. When it comes to Southwest Ranches, we actually, I should have Vice Mayor Hartman read this proclamation. Would you like to read this? Because you're just getting into the beekeeping. I was about to read it, but I think if you're willing to read it, I'll let you
I would
do
be
it.
honored.
With battle
Excellent.
scars, huh?
Okay, is everybody ready for this important proclamation?
It is.
Okay. National Honeybee Awareness Day. Whereas the honeybee is an indispensable asset to mankind and well known for its beneficial service to agriculture in providing pollination service for most of our fruits and vegetables, and whereas the honeybee industry produces a wide range of valuable and beneficial products, not the least which is honey, and whereas honeybees have given rise to a totally new field of medicine called apitherapy. That's new to me. Whereas honey, one of the products of the beekeeping industry, is known to have a multitude of health benefits, and whereas the Broward Beekeepers Association has been tireless in its efforts of promoting backyard beekeeping and to educate the public concerning the values and benefits of honeybees to mankind. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the town of Southwest Ranches on August 16th, 2025, shall be recognized as National Honeybee Awareness Day in the town of Southwest Ranches.
Very good. All right, I don't know if you want to say a couple words?
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. On behalf of the Broward County Beekeepers Association, this really means a lot to bring attention to bees. People must know that honeybees, we need them, and they're not pests.
No.
And they're very important for the environment. So I just want to thank you guys so much for doing this.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. I think we need a quick picture.
Sure. Now, I only have one request to the Beekeepers Association. Your meetings are the same night as ours, so I can't come.
Oh.
Hopefully those aren't feast things.
I spent last night drawing up 20 pounds of honey. Yes.
Yeah, that's why I had him read it.
At the count of three, say B. B. 1, 2. Oh, the wrong thing. Thank you.
Oh, okay. They have bees there? Thanks.
We have one more proclamation.
Don't even bring that up. Mayor, a little known fact while we're waiting for Bob to come back, some minor trivia that I bring up every now and
Yeah,
then.
you're good at that.
The Roman army was so, they utilized the honeybee so much that the legions would not march unless they had a required amount of honey, because it was used for wound care and other purposes, other illnesses,
Right.
while on the march,
Right.
because they were trying to conquer the world.
All right.
They weren't allowed to leave until they had enough. Totally, I'm full of useless trivia.
The conquest depended on the honeybees.
Now you know.
All right. The next proclamation is for International Overdose Awareness Day. Is Priscilla here? Oh, hi, Priscilla. Very good. Very good. I'm going to go ahead and read this proclamation. Thank you, Priscilla, for being here and bringing this to our attention. Whereas the town of Southwest Ranches does affirm and acknowledge the harm and hardship caused by drug overdose, and whereas we recognize the purpose of International Overdose Awareness Day as remembering loved ones lost to overdose and ending the stigma of drug-related deaths, and whereas we resolve to play our part in reducing the toll of overdoses in our community. And whereas we affirm that the people affected by overdose are our sons, our daughters, our mothers and fathers, our brothers, our sisters, and deserving of our love and compassion and support. And they're also our friends. We have very good friends that have been affected by this. Now therefore let it be proclaimed by the town of Southwest Ranches that August 31st, 2025 shall be recognized as International Overdose Awareness Day in the town of Southwest Ranches. Priscilla, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Thank you for, this is such a difficult topic, and yet it affects so many folks. And thank you for what you do to bring the awareness out and to move this forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And I want to thank all of you for passing this proclamation. I lost my daughter 5 years ago. She struggled with substance abuse problem for over 30 years. And so the goal that I've had since that time is to talk about education, awareness, and just bring it all to the attention, especially of parents, so that they can educate their children about the dangers of what's out there. This is an international awareness, obviously. And so I'm glad that Southwest Ranches is part of this, as is, a lot of the cities in the county and, of course, in the world. So again, thank you very much for declaring the day, declaring the proclamation.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Can we get a picture with you?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, perfect. Super. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. Just on this related subject, there was a resident of Sunshine Ranches that the last Sunday of July found out that their son had passed away. They found him in a hotel, passed away over on the east side of town. And on top of that, back in November, they lost another son because of overdose, both within a year. So it's very painful for some of these residents.
It's a very prevalent problem.
Yep.
And as the proclamation said, there's unfortunately like a stigmatism around it and things like that. And it's a disease like any other disease.
There's some people very close to me.
Yeah. And it's a tragedy in every case.
It's affected a lot of families, and it's very painful.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
all know somebody or more.
All right. Public comment. Do we have any public comment this evening?
We may have one speaker, ma'am. I'm not sure if she still wants to speak, but Linda Flack signed up. Ms. Flack, do you still want to speak, or? No? Okay. Okay, I guess not. We have no other public speakers, ma'am.
Thank you for coming out. We do appreciate it, though. All right, board reports.
Do you want to speak?
Oh, you do? Oh, well, come on up. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Linda Flack at 17401 Southwest 70th Place in Southwest Ranches. I'm glad that Russell cleared up a lot of the things that I wanted to speak about, but I still want to say a few things, just so you guys know that I know my family, we have a big family here, and we all hope that this town isn't turning it into a HOA. And we have owned our property here since 1996, and some of our family has been here since the early 60s,
and 70s in the town, and we're all pretty outstanding, dedicated residents here. A lot of us, you guys know, and have volunteered a lot throughout the years. When it was going to be, when it was unincorporated Broward County, we decided to start our own town, and rather than being annexed with Davie and doing it exactly the way we wanted it to be. So we really hope that it stays that way. And if there's anything that we have to say and that we could do, I hope that it's transparent and that we are able to know about things before they're decided upon, that will make changes forever for the future generations. We personally in our family, we have 3 generations of businesses here. It's very important for us to keep the area rural and to keep the rules to a minimum to allow us to be participating in the lifestyles that we've enjoyed for the last 30 years, and then some of our family. So I just wanted to say that out loud and to remind you guys that when you do make decisions about changes or ordinances, that you keep in mind the good people that are here and that are meaningful to this town and have a place here. I want to just make sure I say everything I wanted to say. We had some visitors come in from another state, and as we were driving through the town, they were making comments how they loved to see the farms and the agriculture, the nurseries, and they thought this is how their place used to be years ago. So I wanted to let you know a little feedback from people that don't live here. We're happy to see nurseries and farms and the rural way we are. So it's not just something that people that live here want. It's nice to have visitors come in and see, you know, nurseries and trees and bees and all kinds of things that exist. And the more people that are coming into our town, they do provide more traffic. And I know what you were saying, it matters to all of us. And I know that there's water service and different services that people have and deliveries, you know, prime deliveries, and there's a lot of trucks, there's a lot of things on the road, not just the small businesses too. So we have to take that into consideration. It's not just the people that are working here, it's the people that live here and their services that they require and all the things that they order online cause a lot of traffic as well. So please keep that in mind too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think I want to respond to that. That's the end of public comment, right? Public comment is closed. Just a couple thoughts on that. First of all, I appreciate Linda, you and Todd coming out, and a couple of thoughts. Number one is that the ordinance change is not a change to make it more restrictive in any way for businesses. There's no change in the ordinance that makes it more restrictive. The issue that you're probably aware of is there are certain parts of town where, unfortunately, there are places where individuals have taken advantage of the situation and really have turned areas of the town into where it's no longer, you can't hardly live there as a resident because it's so commercial. And some of those entities are big enough and strong enough that people are very hesitant. Well, I say hesitant, they won't report them because of what the retaliation could be. And so unfortunately, certain parts of our town are in a difficult situation. Homeowners can't live there and they can't sell to get out of there because if a business owner comes in there to run a business like the rest, they look at the code, they say it's against code, we can't come in here, I'm not going to invest in a business to do that. And if they try and sell it to a homeowner, they come in there and they see all the businesses around there and say, I'm not going to get into this mess. And so we were caught in a situation where we really had to do something about it. And so the change is this, is that to make it a proactive item, so that it's not, you don't have to report it. But the other thing is for, to kind of actually to relax the code side from the standpoint of giving time to make a correction to that. Your family has been here longer than I've been here. And your family is part of the fabric of this town from the very beginning, and I recognize that. And so we're trying to thread the needle to protect families such as your own that are integral to our town, that are incredibly respectful of their neighbors and help their neighbors and support this community and have supported it from day one. We're trying to, thread that needle with trying to protect residents that are being driven out of town because of commercial entities that are right next door to them. And so we are going to be discussing this more at the Comprehensive Planning Board meeting on Thursday of next week. I hope that you're able to come out there and give your feedback there. This is still a work in progress, and we want to do it right. We want to do it right. We're not here to create, but this is a tough one. I'll be honest with you. This is a tough one to get right. So that's why it's not being brought on tonight's agenda, is because it needs more work. So thank you for coming out. Believe me when I tell you that everybody up here on this council wants to get it right, and we don't want to jeopardize families like yourself. So thank you. All right, any board reports this evening?
Harold Gubnitsky, Zero Waste Advisory Board. And so, first of all, council, mayor, and manager. First off, I just want to acknowledge, I don't know if this was brought up more recently or not, but the great work by the whole town here in Southwest Ranches in terms of what happened with the Solid Waste Executive Committee. And I think it's, everyone should be proud of that in terms of, it's, at least to my understanding from what's been told, it said that, they've agreed not to put any more new locations for an incinerator. And I think we should all just take a moment and just be proud of our town and what we've done with a small number but aggressive voices. And thank you, Mayor and Council and Councilman and everyone else that contributed to making that happen. So that was and that was part of our. We did acknowledge that and talk about that in last week's advisory board. So that's a great news. A couple other topics we had last week as well. We continue to have more recycling tours. That's one of the mechanisms we have in terms of educating people in terms of the awareness of recycling, how to do it right. We're encouraging the waste management to do a weekend tours so that people who can go to that and actually not have to take off work. So Russell, anything we can do to help, if you're talking to them, just keep a hammer on that as well, if you would, please. I guess a couple of other minor things. We want to get more of the word out. We want to get a website, a participation. I think we talked about some places on the website. Try to get some places where we can have a constant messaging and change of messaging. So website and others. Mr. Hartman, Councilman Hartman, I think you were going to look into that, or a few of us are going to be doing that. So I think any other ways you guys can think of, we're all supportive of that. The other is the consultant. So there's been good progress in that. We're all happy about that. There was narrowed down to 5. So one comment I'll make here is I know there's a wall in terms of, a zone of cone of silence, and so we need to be careful, abide by that. However, I would like to see if there's a way that the advisory board can participate, and if there's a way of working through the process where the advisory board can participate in reviewing those short lists and those presentations. So I know I think that's been brought up, or you guys will be talking about that, but I wanted to use this moment here to kind of emphasize that I think it's important at this point in time that we can help weigh in on, or at least be aware of some of those presentations, since we do have the subject matter expertise within that advisory board, even more so. And then the last point I would make is that Rick Conrad, who's been a board member or been an advisory board, he's basically given his resignation. We appreciate all the work he's done. And however, and on a positive note, we do have at least one volunteer, and I'll say Linda Flack. And so she's got my endorsement and the rest of the advisory board's endorsement. So however we can see fit to make that happen, we would be appreciative. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harold. Appreciate all your work as well. George.
Good evening, Town Council. George Morris from the Astronaut Southwest Ranches Park Foundation. I just wanted to give you guys some news tonight. We had a meeting, our last meeting of our board. We have a kind of an ongoing project here. We've been working very closely with the Arts Board to try and come up with something in the future, a design to try and honor the people who have volunteered and given their time to Southwest Ranches, to try and remember the people who have, given of themselves and maybe have passed on or even still currently alive. So we're trying to create a monument. And Sage Sameta has submitted some designs to the art boards. And we're coming up with a design. I think you guys have all been there and seen what's going on. I just wanted to inform you guys that at our last meeting, the Astronaut Foundation decided to put aside $5,000 of funds that we have raised into a separate account to try and raise money to build this thing. We want it to come to fruition. And we set a goal of $100,000. And just throwing something at you, perhaps the town can match the $5,000, but you can talk amongst yourselves. But we have other things that are going on. We have a pig roast coming up. We have the carnival coming up. We have the pumpkin patch coming up. We have our car shows, chili cook-off. So, we've got a lot of great things out there that are going on to raise money, and we've done that over time. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I wanted to put it out there in the public. If anybody wants to donate, I'll be putting more information out there in the future. But we've set aside this $5,000. And we have a goal of $100,000 to bring this design of plaques and to remember people who have passed on or are currently living or alive. And I want to set up a committee that can bring people and nominate them. And this monument will have, enough names and spots that maybe can carry over for the next, 10, 15 years and just honor the people who have really given a lot of themselves to the town. And on that note, I just wanted to bring you that information. It's very exciting news for us, and we're looking forward to working with the Arts Board and bringing something to you, to present, and I'll keep you guys posted. But this is some of the wonderful things that the Astronaut Foundation, aka Southwest Ranches Park Foundation, is doing. And also, we have some slots. We have about 2 slots available. If anybody out there wants to volunteer, they can see December at the town of Southwest Ranches, put their name forward. We do a lot of wonderful projects and do wonderful things for the community. So thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you, George. Thanks for that update. I don't know, I think we should maybe jump on that 5,000. You said 100 grand in matching. I thought, I got nervous there for a second. Maybe we want to.
You could always do $100 grand. It'll save us a lot of trouble.
But I would certainly support that, the 5,000.
Mayor, could I speak as a board member? I'd like to recognize what Harold said, if I could, that Rick Conrad did step down. He had some problems, personal problems that he wanted to take care of. And we do have an application here. I'd like to present that to the council for their consideration, if you would. Miss Linda Flack, you heard her speak earlier. She's been out here for 30 years in town, and she's very interested in being part of the Zero Waste Advisory Board. We have 2 groups, the Zero Waste Task Force and the Advisory Group. Recycle, refurbish, reuse, composting and all. And I've spoken to her personally, and I'd like to recommend to the council, if I could, Linda Flack for the open position there on the board, if you would.
Yeah, I was super excited to hear that as well. That's great, Linda. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that's his appointee.
Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Ms. Linda.
Do we need a motion? No.
We don't. Thank you. All right. Let me just make sure. Do we do that with a motion or not? Or is that just an appointment?
Exclusive appointment, it's just.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
By verbal is fine.
That's what I thought. Okay, good. Just want to make sure we're dotting our i's and crossing our t's. All right, council member comments.
I'll go.
You got it.
Make it quick.
All right.
I know the rest of you guys got a lot of stuff you want to talk about, so I'll try to not to use up too much of your time. Just a few items of note. First off, thanks everybody for coming here. Welcome. We appreciate your feedback and comments and your presence. We got YouTube. How many do we have on YouTube, Dan? 10? Okay. Welcome to all of them. Just a few items of note. Our photo contest, our deadline is the 9th of September to get in on the next calendar and the judging. So if you do have your photos, please send them in. It's right on the website on how to do it. In August, the DMV will not be here. That's very important. Please note, correct? Right, will not be here. September has got a question mark on it. So just make note of that. We have bingo at the barn on the 27th of September. We have our favorite caller out there somewhere. There he is over there talking, which is his job. So it's dinner and bingo at the barn. Tickets are available at the front. Is that correct, December? Huh? Okay. Very good.
In case you didn't hear that, next week they'll be available.
I heard her.
Well, you heard it, but I don't know if
Yeah,
everybody
but I'm
else
not
heard.
the person that least hears anything. We have the Halloween home decoration contest. They have to be submitted by the 7th of October. I believe the judging is on the 20th or something, 20th or 21st, whatever it is. George did not mention the pumpkin patch when he was up, or did you? No, I wasn't listening. Sorry.
I didn't say the date.
Okay. Pumpkin patch is going to be October 16th through the 19th at the Preserve. The Rolling Oaks Halloween is going to be, and that's a big event. We usually have several hundred children come there, and it's at the barn, and that's going to be on the 31st, which is Halloween night, Friday night. So finally the stars aligned, and we got one on that once every 10 years. We have the Food Truck Festival coming this Tuesday, the 2nd of September at the Preserve. George, is that correct? That's still on, the Food Truck Festival?
Yes.
Okay.
September 2nd, first Tuesday of each month.
All right, good. He didn't mention that one. So we have our budget meetings coming up in September on the 15th. Did I get that right this time?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
on my birthday.
15th is the first one, and the 25th is the final one. Let your voice be heard. If you see something in the budget that you don't like, you need to tell us. We can't read minds, that's for sure. Or contact us all individually. Just to let everybody know, the big flag on the cell tower has been replaced. It's up there. It was flapping yesterday really well. People don't realize it takes about a 150-foot crane to get that flag up there, and they get it all fixed. And cranes are not cheap, and they're not easy to get on a moment's notice. So just want to mention that. And I'll close with Monday, the 1st of September, Town Hall will be closed. So that's all I have right now. Mayor, turn it over to the rest of you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary. Who'd like to go next?
I will.
Thank you, Jim.
I'll be quick. First of all, I'd like to say that the budget workshop was an absolutely amazing workshop. I want to thank the staff, the town council, everyone for keeping the taxes like they are. I looked back through it, like I said at the meeting the other night, and my homeowner's insurance and my car insurance, if it stayed like that, like the town's budget, I'd be a happy camper, but that's not true. But thank you so much for all that hard effort. It was just a great, great workshop, and I'm really sorry that a lot more people didn't show up, but we have another one coming up, so if you got questions, make sure you get there. I attended a workshop on the climate. I sit on the Broward County Weather Advisory Board. The climate talked about sea level rise. That was their primary concern, about sea level rise. They gave a couple of posters that resemble campaign posters, and it has a QR code on it. I have one at the house. I did not bring it this evening. I forgot it. But if you click on that QR code, it will tell you the elevation of your house and what dangers you are in the next, now listen to this, in the next 10 to 15 years. And it's unbelievable how quick that sea is rising and how fast it's coming. Corps of Engineers does not have the money to put the necessary pumps out here to get rid of the water that we need. And, you know, we got to figure out a way to stop it, but I just don't know how. It was amazing. I really enjoy sitting listening to those. And finally, I got an email from Filthy Organics. The town said that 100 residents could participate. I signed up. There are 51 right now currently participating, and I think there's probably close to 60, if I read the email right, that have signed up, but 51 are participating. It's been about a month and a half, maybe close to 2 months now. Anyone have an idea as to how much organic food waste that we've given them in the month and a half, 2 months' time? 1,480 pounds of food. That's great. That's almost 30 pounds. That's 29 point something pounds per family in a 2-month period. That's a lot of scraps and stuff that's going not to the landfill, but going to make brand new soil. And from what I understand, they're going to bring us a bucket of soil every couple of months. And I got some pineapples that say thank you very much for that. So that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Jim.
All right. Thank you, folks. The folks who stuck around, David Kaczynski, District 4. Just want to first begin by thanking Linda and Todd for coming out, and Linda for speaking out during public comment. I likewise am concerned. I know there's a big problem that has to be resolved, but we have to balance other issues as well. Recycling. Driving around Sunshine Ranches, I'm seeing folks that have more recycling out than can fit in the bin. If it's not in the bin, they're going to leave it there. When I drove home, I saw the waste sitting there on the side of the road. So if it doesn't fit in the bin, leave it for next week, or find a way to leave it out there for the carrier to pick it up. Same thing goes for the solid waste, the garbage. I saw a realtor posting something on Facebook today that indicated there was a community that is, quote, gated. And I was like, wait a minute. There are 2 gated communities in Southwest Ranches. One's Landmark, the other one's Griffin 345. Other than that, none. And I'm probably a no vote for any further gated communities. I'm going to put my neck on the line for that one. I just don't believe in them. I know we spoke, let me go at it this way. The new speed signs that are out, you drive past them, you see how fast you're going. It's not to see how fast you can go on the street. It's basically to warn you about how fast you are, and to add that the speed limit is either 35 on Mather or 25 on the other interior roads. What I do, I get on the Luray on my way home. I see my car at 25, I hit cruise control. That's it. I'm not gonna exceed the speed as long as I keep it set with the cruise control. It works for me. Suggestion for residents. There are still people speeding on Luray, which dovetails into my other topic. I had brought up the speed tables issue. I spoke with Russell a little bit about this, and I have to present to Russell what my concept is for what kind of speed table is to slow these residents down. And it's not all residents. There are some people from out of town. I've seen some of these construction trucks going by, and they're really exceeding 30, 35 miles an hour, more than that. But it's an idea that I came up with, through the help of some people at Sunshine Ranches HOA, about slowing the folks down in our neighborhood. We had one car, or there was one report on Luray of a vehicle doing almost 90 miles an hour earlier in the year, and then same thing for Mustang Trail, right around the upper 80s. This is the speeding that really has to be limited, and unless we have a police officer sitting there every day of the week, which we can't afford, we have to use other measures to slow these vehicles down. So that kind of wraps it up for me. I'll pass it on to the mayor, and he, I guess, give it to Bob. Goes through the chair.
I'll go next. Folks, it's that time of year again. If you go to any of the HOA meetings, Detective Eddie Velasquez speaks at every one of them. He comes out to tell us what's going on in each one of the districts in town. And the reason I'm saying it's that time of year again is, well, 3 months ago when Eddie was coming out to the meetings, early summer, things are quiet. It's not going to stay that way. We're not seeing a lot going on. I mean, we have the usual speeders and all that, but it's early. Now, August, every year, and I think we've all written this in our articles over the years that we write for the town newsletter. This is when the car thieves start. This is when the people break into cars, which can turn into them stealing your beautiful new car or old car. You know, an old Lamborghini is a pretty nice car too. They take off. We recently were hearing as well, they're getting far more sophisticated. How many of you have the buttons in your cars to open up your garage door, open up the gates? They know that. You press the garage door, now they're in your house. We had a situation recently where they went all the way in the house. That's scary stuff. Every bit of it, though, is preventable. When I got my new truck last year, you know, this is one, it's got one of those entry systems where if this is in my pocket, I press the button on the door and it opens. I press it twice, they're all open. That's a problem. The crooks have devices that will allow them to come up to your house, find where it is by pointing this device and just kind of scanning your house. Then they have the second crook next to the car with the mated pair of that device, and they figure out and they can start your car. Once they start your car, they can take off with it and rekey it, reprogram a key for themselves a block away. Doesn't take much. The scary part is when they start coming in the house or they can open up your gates. We had a Rolls Royce and two really expensive cars disappear from the same house in the same night. The way you protect yourself with these, you know, they sell these Faraday bags, $29.95 for a little bag to shove this thing in. There's a much simpler way to do it. You know those cookie tins that you get at Christmas time when somebody gives you a thing of cookies that you're probably not going to eat? Well, eat them or dump them out or do whatever. Put this in the box.
Put them in the compost.
Yeah, there you go. You can put yours in the compost. But the bottom line is you can protect these devices so that the crooks can't steal. Now, there's a whole nother way they're getting into our cars. With a raise of hands, how many people leave their car keys in their car? Kidding, don't raise your hand. But that's people leave guns, they get stolen. They leave their cars unlocked with the keys inside. We live in a very safe community. I'm not out here to say tonight that we've got a crime wave going on. But they come out this time every year, and they're usually out there until middle of the winter. They're usually, they start to relax around January, February. I think they're getting ready to do their Christmas shopping now is what it comes down to. But all of these things are avoidable. Put these in a Faraday bag or a metal container. They can't be read through. I mean, you're safe if you got one. Just close the door. You don't even have to lock the safe. But the bottom line is they're out there. Now, we've done a couple of things that are definitely helping Davie PD. I'm sure everybody's aware now we put the license plate readers all over town. I believe we're at the point now where you can't come into Southwest Ranches without your tag being read. And Davie picks up when it's a stolen car, a stolen plate, all that sort of thing. And also, if anybody gets the license plate when they're stealing, when they're breaking into cars, et cetera, and reports it to Davie, they can watch for that person when they leave. And they've made good use of the technology. So only message, protect yourself. Put your keys away. Don't leave them in your car. Lock your car so they can't get at that button that opens your garage. And these folks won't ruin your day. So, thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Great, thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. Just a good reminder, always. All right, I want to give an update on a few different projects that are major projects that are going on that actually we're getting some good feedback on. So the first one is, we mentioned earlier, Harold mentioned it, it came up, is the master plan for the South Florida, the Solid Waste Authority has put together. I have the honor of serving on that committee, and we've been working for the last 2 years to put together a plan that is more forward-thinking than backward-thinking. In other words, let's just not rely on building another incinerator and sending all our garbage there and burning it and hoping for the best, you know. Let's look forward, let's look at new technologies, let's look at better ways of handling that. And it's been 2 years of transformation, to be honest with you, because when we started, clearly that was the default answer, was to let's just get this group together, get the approval to do an incinerator and move on. And as we moved on, as we moved through this process, we had the town of Southwest Ranches really I was fortunate enough to be on the committee, but the residents that showed up at those meetings, time after time after time, from Southwest Ranches, speaking about where we really should be looking, into the future as opposed into the past, looking at new technologies, looking at better ways to do things, and it's taken 2 years to get there. But the message has been heard to where the master plan has been finalized. I'm sure it's going to still be tweaked here and there, but there is no new incineration right now. And if there was to be a need for more incineration, it is being strictly limited to the facility that's already there at basically at 595 and 441 in that area there. So there's nothing coming out here to our area, but which is important. Obviously, that's job one, is to protect our town. But it's just as important to know that at this point, we're not building any new ones, and and hopefully we won't need to. Hopefully, as technology continues to improve, this will be a living document. We'll continue to improve on it, and we won't have any incineration. But it's good to know that if there is going to be some, it's not going to be here. It would just be added onto the current facility that's there. So that was a huge win for the town, and it honestly was a group effort. It honestly was a group effort. We had I think I can say confidently that there was not a meeting of the Solid Waste Authority where there were not more residents from Southwest Ranches that spoke than any other city that was there. And so we really took the leadership there and made a difference, not only for ourselves, but for the county. So we should be very proud of that. The work's not over. The work is actually just, we're like at the end of the beginning is where we're at. And so there's a lot more to be done over the years to come to make sure we stick with it, and to make sure that the county adopts it, and make sure the other municipalities also adopt it. So we'll continue that work. But this is a huge milestone, and I want to make sure that we noted that. The second thing I wanted to touch on is we have been working with the South Florida Wildlife Center to, they are being forced out of their home on the east side of Broward County by the airport needs their space, and so their lease actually ends technically the end of next month, the end of September. And so we've been working for the last year and a half with them, trying to work with the school board, trying to work with Broward County, and trying to, we have a piece of property that is on Sheridan, basically at around 190th, that was bought by the school board for a future school, but they really don't have a use for it, but it has a a restriction on the property, can only be used for educational purposes. And so this is like a perfect home for the South Florida Wildlife Center. And so all this to say that we've been working on it. Keith has done a tremendous job. Russell has done a tremendous job kind of pulling the administrative pieces together. And we have our big meeting with the school board this coming Tuesday on the 19th. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be, crossing my fingers, hopefully very smooth. I think we've crossed all the T's, dotted the I's, and I think everybody is on board. But it's going to be exciting to see that all come together. Once again, another project where we're at the end of the beginning, because then obviously once this gets approved, then the whole building and moving process starts. So, but it's big for our town. It aligns so well with who we are as a town. We value animals so highly here, and how great is it to be able to have this hospital, animal hospital, these facilities, these trained professionals right in our backyard to be able to do that. So very excited about that. And then the last thing that I wanted to touch on was we are continuing to work on a public safety building. This is part of our Davie public safety contract, which covers our police and fire. But this building in particular is going to function as a fire station out west. During normal operations, should a hurricane or some other natural disaster be heading our way, it will operate as an emergency operations center. And so we're excited about that, to have that type of facility in our town. And so we hope to be acquiring the property here in the next 90 days, and then we'll kick it off from there. My goal, we had, as Jim mentioned, we had our budget workshop here a couple nights ago, and staff did an amazing job. Your millage is staying the way it is. It's not going up. And my challenge to staff, my challenge to the council is that we want to build this public safety building, and in doing so, we want to make sure that we do not increase the millage and we do not increase our debt. And so that's our challenge, to get that done through grants and through other options to be able to get the funding to build this. And I believe we have the staff and the commitment to be able to do that. So that will be another big project on our way. So there's some big things going on. Just wanted to give an update so everybody was aware of where we were at. All right, I will leave it.
Could I get about 30 seconds, if you would? I'd just like to comment something that David said. I think most of the residents may or may not understand about the speed signs that are out there. They do not read tags. They can't tell a car that goes by and write them a ticket or anything. They record your speed, they record the time of day, and so look at those signs as a way to remind people of what the speed is. They can't do anything about you slowing down. However, once every quarter, is it, that the data from those is recovered and they're looked at. And I'll use 166, for example. Let's say on Saturday mornings, every Saturday morning for the past 3 months, there's been between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock, 5 or 6 cars that come through at 50, 60 mile an hour. It's a pattern. They start to see that. Well, guess what? We'll ask our patrol to be out there at that time and him in the pocketbook with a ticket. But these do not record the tags or not anything like that. They're just reminders, and the council, each council member picked the locations. Mine are coming in off of Griffin, and mine are coming in off of Sterling into my district, the 2 main highways that lead into District 3, to remind people. So, we'll hit them in the pocketbook after 3 or 4 months goes by, and we catch the same people, the same time frame of people doing things, all right? All right, thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, this has made a big difference in a number of areas in reducing speed. It's really been a positive thing. It's not an intrusive thing. It's not. If a crime occurs, then it's used as a great tool to be able to do that. And also, if it identifies like a stolen vehicle, obviously that pops up too. But minor, like if your registration is expired, nobody's gonna come knocking on your door for something like that. That's not what it's about. All right, Richard, thank you for filling in for Keith, and it's over to you for your legal comments.
Appreciate it, Mayor. Thank you. No legal comments.
All right,
tonight.
thank
Appreciate
you. All right, Russell.
I'll try to be brief as well, Mayor.
Can you be briefer than that?
No, not that brief, unfortunately. I do have a few items, but I would like to schedule a workshop of the town council prior to the October 9th meeting, the topic of which to discuss the issue of water service and the provision of water service to residents in town by the different municipal utilities that have been providing water service to various parts of the town. Administration needs some direction from the town council about a methodology, how we want to approach this. There's some other considerations and a lot of facets, and what I'd like to have is some direction, some unified direction from the town council to, that comes out of that workshop. So I'd like to see if we can schedule something for 30 minutes, an hour to 30 minutes prior to a meeting on the 9th of October.
Yeah, can I just make a
course.
comment about that? Yeah, so I want people to understand what this is about. This is not about forcing anybody to get on to water and sewer from a municipality. What this is about is really two things. Number one is, as you'll see, we're about to get to it in tonight's agenda, more and more often homes are electing to actually pay for the pipes to come in so that they can have water either from Cooper City or Sunrise or Pines into their home. And it's not, it doesn't force anybody else to do it, but in certain cases people want to do that. And it's expensive to do, but they do it. However, the other side of the coin is this, is that we need to, as a municipality, we need to make sure that we do this in an organized, systematic way. We can't have one house, here being serviced by Cooper City, then the neighbor next to it being serviced by Sunrise, and then the next neighbor next to it being serviced by Cooper City again, and having these pipes running on top of beside one another all the time. So what this is about is basically with the collaboration of Cooper City, Sunrise, and Pines, saying if a resident chooses to hook up to water, we want to make sure that they're hooking up to the right one that will be consistent and best for the town, so that so everybody in this area, it's proper for them per se to go through Pines. In this area, it's best for them to go through Cooper City, and this area here to go through Sunrise. So we can't have pipes on top of pipes, because then one messes up and all of a sudden all the neighbors get messed. It makes no sense. It's very costly and it makes no sense. So this is basically future planning to decide what would be the best way to do it. We'll come up with a plan. Do I think that plan is going to be, the final plan? No. I'm sure that as time goes by and we see other things happening, we may have to tweak it by a road here and there and adjust. But we can't just let this go on willy-nilly and create a real issue for ourselves that 10, 15 years down the line. I do believe the day is going to come, hopefully not in my lifetime, but I do believe the day will come where, through sea level rise or whatever the reason, that we are going to have to probably get water to all our homes. So better to be proactive and advance this ahead of time and plan it out than to be caught shorthanded.
Thank you, Mayor. The final thing that I have is just recently, Councilmember Jablonski and I attended the Materials Recovery Facility, the MRF, as it's referred to, that WM has in Davie. And we were given an opportunity to look at how they process debris that comes to their facility and gets sorted. So basically what they do is they take debris that comes in from bulk and they sort it based on whether it's concrete, construction debris, vegetative debris and other things, and then they sort it and they try to, obviously the goal is to divert as much of that as they can from the landfills. I just wanted to let anybody know who's interested, we've allowed for the recycling tours. Waste Management has, or WM, has offered if anyone wants to see those MRF facilities, that they could set up a tour of that as well. So we had one that was during the week. I know it wasn't necessarily the best, most conducive time to people attending, but I just wanted to extend it to anyone in the public that wishes to attend a tour of the MRF, the Materials Recovery Facility. I would ask you to contact Dan Stewart, our staff liaison for the Zero Waste Advisory Board, and he will coordinate a tour upcoming, so.
You guys pushing for a weekend, Russell?
We can certainly request that. I did make that request, and they would accommodate us. It would have to be, they would prefer to do it earlier in the day if they're going to do that, because they have shortened hours on the weekends, and also, obviously, weather-wise, it would be better.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
So, yeah, great. All right, item number 12. Ordinance on second reading, if we could please read that into the record.
This is an ordinance of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, amending Section 070110 of the Town of Southwest Ranches Unified Land Development Code pertaining to non-commercial signage, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. This was approved on first reading, June 26, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second. Third.
We have a motion, a second on this item. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, is there any public discussion on this item? Seeing none, if we can please call the roll.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent, thank you. If you can please read item number 13.
Item 13 is an ordinance of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, amending the Town of Southwest Ranches Unified Land Development Code, Article 35, Conditional Uses, Section 035-080, Indoor and Outdoor Assembly in Rural and Agricultural Districts, providing for severability and providing for an effective date. This was also approved on first reading, June 26, 2025.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion, and a second on this item. Is there any council discussion on the item?
I do have one question. This is still, somebody has to call in, correct? This is still, okay. So a neighbor has to turn another neighbor in?
Correct.
Reactive.
It's reactive, not proactive.
Right, yeah.
That's correct. Any other council comments on it? Any public discussion on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Item number 14, please.
Item number 14 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, consenting to the City of Sunrise, providing water services to 13821 Luray Road, real property lying within the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, providing that no further expansion of service shall be permitted without the explicit written consent of the town, providing for a certified copy of this resolution to be furnished to the City of Sunrise, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. This is exactly an example of what I was referring to earlier with the water. So we want to make sure that, like an example like this, that that Sunrise, in fact, is the proper servicer of this, and not some other municipality. All right. Any council discussion on this item? Seeing none, is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, if you please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Item number 15, please.
Item 15 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, consenting to the City of Sunrise, providing water services to 13801 Luray Road, real property lying within the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, providing that no further expansion of service shall be permitted without the explicit written consent of the town, providing for a certified copy of this resolution to be furnished to the City of Sunrise, and providing for an effective date.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the item. Is there any council discussion on this item?
This is 16, right?
They're neighbors.
15.
15, sorry.
Yeah. They're neighbors.
No. Yeah.
They're sharing the cost, I'm sure.
Any public discussion on this item? Seeing none, if you please call the roll.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent. Please read item number 16, please.
Item number 16 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a purchase order with EDJ Service LLC in the amount of $138,121.84 for the removal of invasive exotic species at multiple town property locations, authorizing the town administrator to execute the purchase order and providing for an effective date.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. On this item, I wonder, do we want to talk a little bit just to what this involves? This is kind of
Certainly, Mayor. So this item is something that was presented to you as part of the fiscal year 2025 budget. So this is a budgeted item to basically address invasive exotic species in various town properties throughout the town. Just a representative example, we have about 10 acres of invasive exotics at Country Estates Park that this addresses. Some invasive exotics at Rolling Oaks and a couple of other parcels around the town. It also addresses in future years Broadwing as a spot that has massive invasive exotics. There's a pocket park along 185th, I believe it is. The list is there.
Yep.
So basically removing them, and then we have the companion for future to maintain that so that they don't grow back, essentially.
very good. Thank you, Russell.
You're welcome.
And thank
Russell,
you,
this
December.
138, is that part of the maintenance coming future, or is this just for removal?
This is just the removal.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, Bob.
Yeah, I want to encourage everybody to support this. When December did this out at Rolling Oaks Park, she did it around the ponds, and it made such a difference. They were completely overgrown with invasives and with other things that people would call weeds, but they were all cleared out. The area looks beautiful. The plants have come back. They're much more healthy looking, the native species that are there. And the problem we have here in Florida, as everybody knows, a seed hits the ground. 5 years, it's a tree. And we have to maintain. This isn't discretionary spending. This is something that December needs to continue to invest in, probably as long as we're all here, because the seed's going to always hit the ground. And we have a very large investment in our parks. And without this, Country Estates in the back is horrible because it was a landscape nursery. A lot of that stuff just continues to grow. The bischoffias have come in, all the weed trees have come in, the curly-eared acacias are in there now, and this just has to be done. So this is year 2, I think, of this program, December, more or less, year 3.
This is the first year.
Well,
Well,
what
I
we
mean,
did-
it's part of the fiscal year 25
Yeah,
program.
yeah,
yes.
but what I'm saying is this is the second year I think we're doing this.
December, come on up and just
Yeah,
address
thank
that
you.
question, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. December Haynes, Parks Director. Vice Mayor Hartman, you're not incorrect. We did do some invasive exotic removal last year, but I fit that within my existing budget.
Right.
But you are remembering correctly that we did certain spots along Griffin Road in certain areas that were important. And then we planned for a larger framework for.
So last year was
invasives.
your pilot then, and this is the
I
full-blown
think
program.
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah,
Yes, yes. And we have, I have actually proposals for $217,000 worth of work. What I'm bringing forward is just what I could fit within what we budgeted for this year. So I will be hoping that we can continue the program. And to answer Councilmember Albritton's question, this is the removal money, but there was also approved in this year's budget a program mod to follow up maintenance. Because it's so late in the fiscal year, that money is kind of largely, awaiting to be spent. And this item is so large that even though our contract encompasses these services, we still have to make sure that we get your approval before we spend that much, so.
Yeah. Keep up the good work,
Thanks.
December.
Thank you.
And we need to continue doing this as long as we're a town, probably, so. Yep. Good, thank you.
Thanks.
Absolutely. All right. Any public discussion on this item? Seeing none. Any further council comment? Seeing none, if we please call the roll.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Excellent. Thank you. Item number 17, please.
Item number 17 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a purchase order with EDJ Service LLC in the amount of $42,972.60 for replenishment of playground service material at multiple town property locations, authorizing the town administrator to execute the purchase order and providing for an effective date.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Any council discussion on this item? Seeing none, is there any public discussion on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Very good. Item number 18, please.
Item 18 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving an interlocal agreement with Broward County to utilize its Unsafe Structures Board for adjudication of town building code and related public nuisance matters, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to execute said agreement and providing for an effective date.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on this item. This is kind of like a little-known fact, because I don't think we've ever used it in the life of our town. But we do, this is just kind of a renewal of what we already have there. I don't want people thinking that they were doing something new here. Just Broward County changed their wording, so we needed to change ours to kind of keep up with them. But if we ever needed an unsafe structure board, this is how we would do it, so.
So we never have used it.
I don't believe we've ever used it. Have we?
I'm sorry, Mayor. We adopted the resolution back in 2000, or the agreement back in 2005, long before I was here.
Yeah.
We may have used it once, but I'm not aware of any instances.
Okay.
All right. Any council discussion on this item? Seeing none, any public discussion on the item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, so item number 19, we'll read it into the record. This is the one we want to send back to the comp board, so we'll read it into the record, and I'm hoping we'll get a motion to table.
Item number 19 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, establishing the operation of illegal businesses as a priority item for proactive code enforcement, establishing a compliance period, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to table.
Second.
Hold on, we got to do a date certain, don't we?
We should do it to a date certain, yes.
I would agree with that. I think, well, I would suggest, just if I could put it out there, October 9th.
Yeah, I think
It needs
October
time
could-
to go back to comp plan board, be vetted, it may need to be rewritten and then scheduled. So I would say October 9th would be a good date.
I'll amend my motion accordingly.
And the second.
Okay. There's no discussion on a table. If we please call the roll.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion to table, approved.
Thank you. All right, we have several discussion items this evening. The first one is yours, David.
Thank you. All right, folks, and council, earlier we passed the final reading of the amendment to the election sign ordinance, and during the communications and discussions about this, it was relayed to me that this may be an issue that's a proactive enforcement item, but I haven't seen any minutes, I haven't seen any resolution. As far as I'm concerned, it's reactive unless somebody can prove to me it is proactive. That's basically what it is.
You know, it's an interesting point, David. I'm glad you brought it up. So my understanding, I don't really remember this being proactive, but what I do remember is that like the snipe signs and things like that, you, as a resident, you can just come and pick them up. You know, you don't need to be coming to town hall.
Right, in the
You
swale.
Yeah,
In
you
the
just,
swale, of
if they're in the swale, they're public right
Anytime.
away, just put them under your arm and they're yours. So it's kind of, I think that's where kind of the image of proactive perhaps came from, is because any resident can, if they're illegal, you can pick them up and take them.
Anyone can take it.
Right.
But
Yeah, I think one of the big problems we have with these is where they're attached to fences.
Yep, fences
That's
or
my
poles
concern.
or
Now-
whatever
now it's
stapled onto
private
there.
property.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yep,
Now it's a
Right. I
private
knew it was
property that,
5.
when it's on a fence,
yeah.
on a pole, it's open season.
Right.
Just that's, non-governmental signage in the swale,
Yep.
according to the snipe sign law.
Make sure you're speaking.
According to the snipe sign law. So
Right.
it's, can be taken down by anybody.
Yep.
But we encourage code to, call code on it, something like that.
I'm just saying, I think that's where perhaps the thought came from.
Yeah, I just didn't want code to be going up to somebody's fence and pulling signs down. There's still folks in my neighborhood that have signs up and, let them. To me, that's my opinion, but let somebody report them. I'm not.
Well, I'll just say for the record that I think once an election's over, the sign should come down. It looks pretty trashy to me. That's just my opinion, so.
There's people that are reminding everybody every day who's in office, so.
Oh, my goodness.
And Newell has a question.
Oh, my goodness.
Newell has a question.
He does have a question.
All right.
Is there any other council discussion than on David's point? Seeing none? Newell, I'll open up to the public.
Noel Hollings, 199th Avenue. You said that you just pick up the signs and they're yours. If I remember correctly, what was said was you are to pick up the signs and deliver them to Town Hall, where the owner of that sign can come and pick it up. So that's what I remembered. And I've seen this in other municipalities where the signs are picked up and put at their city halls, and the owners, if they so desire, can come and pick them up, and after a reasonable amount of time, then they're deposited in the dumpster. Thank you.
Thanks, Newell. Any other public comment? Yeah, I think there's two things going on there. During campaign season, if there's a sign, like if I didn't give permission for somebody to put a sign in my yard and all of a sudden their sign is in my yard and I don't agree with it, then the nice thing to do is to pick it up and to take it to Town Hall and give it to code and let them return it to the candidate, and all is good. On the other hand, if somebody comes by and staples a, I will read your palm onto the, the telephone pole next to my house, I ain't returning that one to Town Hall. I'm taking it down, I'm throwing it in my trash can. So nothing against palm readers. I'm just saying as an example. But so I think it kind of depends on the sign.
Or water filtration companies.
Or water filtration. That's a better example. Thank you, David.
All right.
So, all right.
Thanks. Thank you.
You good?
Yep, good.
All right. Second discussion item is also yours, David, for fireworks.
One of the first things that we did when we were, when Mayor, you and Jim and myself were elected, one of the first things that we pushed through was a recommendation, asked Representative Robin Bartleman to sponsor legislation to add us to the other municipality in Florida that is exempt from the fireworks law in the state of Florida. Basically, folks, there are 3 days that you are allowed to set off fireworks, and this is state law. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, July 4th. No other days. Every other day is illegal. In fact, we passed a resolution that Councilmember Jablonski pushed through, which I fully supported, which every other day is a violation of the code. So we have 3 days. Wellington pushed through, and they got an exemption to the state law for those 3 days. And all of a sudden, the following year, there were all kinds of municipalities that were trying to do the same thing. And
including Southwest Ranches.
Including Southwest Ranches. And all of them were shown no hearings, nothing. They died on the calendar. And it came to me, somebody came up to me and says, maybe we should try it again as we get closer to the administration's end up here. And so I thought, well, maybe we should try it again and ask Representative Bartleman to push this through for us. So it's just a suggestion I'd like to make to the council and see where you guys stand on it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great suggestion. My thought on it is not to, I think one of the things that really turned off the legislature on doing this is they didn't want to see these things just coming through onesies and twosies, from here on forever, right? And so I really think that the best approach here is to come up with parameters of a size of community, an equestrian focus in the community, some elements that really put us in a category where we fit and reflects the reasons why we're concerned about it, and then gather other communities that are similar to us to try and build a coalition to get a little bit more of.
It's a real good idea.
Yeah, thanks. I think it stands a much better chance of passing, and it relieves the legislature. They're not going to have to do this every year. Now they can do it once, and it's done, and all these communities are covered. So I think maybe that's something we can recommend to Robin and our lobbyists to maybe move forward with that.
It's something I would like to do. Do we need a vote on that?
I think we
I did some research into this, and a year or two ago, whenever it was, when we were going back and forth, something interesting came out of it. In Wellington, you are allowed to set off fireworks. They have a zone that you can't, and it's like 9,000 acres or something like that. That's considered the equestrian area, and there's no fireworks allowed in that. But portions of Wellington that are right outside of that, they're allowed to, they carved out a section is really what it came down to. And I think that made it more palatable for the legislature. And I was kind of surprised to hear that or read that, actually.
Yeah.
So something I just want to throw out here. It's not a complete blanket,
Okay.
according to what I read. But I don't know how it's laid out. I didn't see a map of or a grid or anything like that. They just they did it by acreage, which was I guess the whole equestrian area that's concentrated in that, the show rings and all that. So
Russell, is that something you could reach out to the city of Wellington to find out how they've defined that?
We could certainly do that for sure.
yeah, see if there's any validity to that, what I read.
Yep.
You know.
We'll look into it.
And we might want to do the same thing here, 'cause when I think of Sunshine Ranches, it's a large equestrian area. Up my way, there's still a few people with horses. Maybe they wouldn't want it as well, but there's whole areas of town that don't have horses anymore.
Well, just not even horses. I've got numerous cows across the street from me.
Yeah.
I got goats on the other side. I got, we've got a lot of different animals,
Bless you.
all over town. Different species.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's intriguing. I hadn't heard that, but I'm not sure I would be in favor of carving out. I think what's good for one part of town is good for all of town.
Oh, yeah, I'm not suggesting a carve out.
I'm not.
I'm just explaining what I read.
I mean, it would be interesting to read what they've done, but I would be more inclined to come up with, town-wise or like we were talking before, this type of town across Florida, kind of a situation.
Yeah, I don't think we fit that model.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah. Do we have a consensus to try and move that forward with Robin and our lobbyists?
Here.
Yeah,
Sure. Okay, I think we do.
It seems unanimous.
think
We
we
will
do.
need to, at some point, adopt some kind of either a resolution or an ordinance to move forward, because we will need to submit something to the Broward Legislative Delegation if there is going to be a
All right,
bill
let's
that's
put one
going
on
to be
the-
filed.
Let's see if we can get one on the next meeting. Let's get it on the next meeting.
It'll probably be the first meeting in September, because
Okay.
we'll have to craft something. As long as they get it by the October 17th deadline for the Broward Legislative Delegation, it'll
Okay.
still make session, so it should be
Good.
fine.
Yeah, don't.
I appreciate it.
Don't
Thanks.
we have one already
you,
that we
David.
read, and then.
I'm sorry?
We already had one from a while back, just basically up.
Well, you may want to look
Well,
at
I
that.
think this is a
and
little
then-
different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you may want to
yeah.
look at
Might
it.
be a starting point.
We did one basically that we were not,
Well, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
modify it to.
Sure.
however it works out. Okay.
Hey, Steve,
today.
Yeah.
do you think public may have some input on this as well? Public?
Yeah, sure, happy to. Yeah, is there any public feedback on this? Absolutely.
This fireworks thing isn't like that simple.
Who are you?
No, what
Who
you
are
ought to
Your
do.
name and address.
Okay, Jim Lasky, 5780 Southwest 180th Avenue.
Thank you.
It's not really as simple as it sounds. Fireworks can be explosives real easily. A lot of this stuff, there was a guy over in Hollywood, there was a good friend of mine that lived in the ranches here. This guy would make literally dynamite. You hear about quarter sticks and all that? He gets larger than quarter sticks. You can blow up somebody's houses with fireworks. some of these Roman candles, these missiles that go off, the mortars, all that kind of stuff. I really object to the idea that somebody stands in the middle of 188th Avenue with a Roman candle, and who knows who the hell made it, but they blow up the factories that make them. One blew up in, what was it, town in Texas, I think, this year, and Mexico, I think, was last year. I mean, these are clowns that make this stuff. These are not the kind of guys that work at Norfolk Grumman or something and build missiles and drones. They're just idiots out there. Who else would work in a fireworks factory? Think about it. I mean, who knows what they're drinking or smoking or whatever when they're building this stuff. I mean, it can be very dangerous. So why don't you try to enlist the fire department to go after them? The fire department has a lot of a cachet with the government as far as regulations and stuff. They got piles of regulations for building a house, where the vents can be and all the other things that go in it, how far a generator's got to be from a window. You know, I would think that way, or maybe combine them. But
Great.
That's bad stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Debbie?
Seeing none, public comment closed. All right. Thank you, David. Appreciate you bringing that up. Bob?
I just had somebody ask me about this today, and all right. Thanks.
Yep.
So something I have been talking to Russell about for a while, for a number of different reasons, and really the conversations go back even before Russell to Andy. I shot some video of the historical house that's on 163rd in Southwest Meadows Sanctuary Park. And back in 2001, I've got some video that Dan is going to put up in a couple of minutes, but back then, the building needed us to invest. I think we have that building. And for those who aren't familiar, the building I'm talking about is in the park there. It's up on blocks. It was built in the 1920s. It's a Dade County pine home. We acquired it, I think it was about 2003 or 2005. And we had two of them originally, but one burned down. So we're left with the one. And when I first got a drone, I figured, let me map the parks, and that caught my attention because the building was declining pretty quickly at that time. It had trees growing up right next to the foundation. It had holes in the roof. It had, I think at the time there were a piece of plywood or two ripped off. And now the building is getting to be decrepit. So in having gone in there quite a bit over the last couple of weeks to investigate it, I think we need to make a determination on whether we want to demolish it or something else, because it's certainly a safety risk. Having spent the early part of my life in construction, I would not try to rehabilitate this building because it's full of mold. The roof's been leaking. It's not a house like you'd expect today. It is, the walls are plastered. They're not drywall. And what happens with plaster when it gets wet is you get the black spots to begin with, and then they start to grow. Dan, if you'd put the video on, I shot some video a couple of years ago that's kind of the first part of this. It's about a 6-minute video. And then the last half is the current situation, and I put an orange slide in there to let you know where it is. I was new at drone flying at the point. But you'll see a piece of plywood on the ground. That used to cover a window. Somebody tore it down. That whole side of the building now is delaminating. It has a aluminum siding over it. You see the window. That's the kitchen there. Or actually, it's a laundry room. But that whole wall is delaminated from the frame of the building. Some of this has been torn down. It's in pretty pitiful shape. A couple of years, when C&C was, or when the horse farm was being taken down, we took that plywood structure that sits there. That was a saddle building. That is completely disintegrated. That side of the house is pretty much the living room. There's I think it's like a dining room area and a laundry room And again, it looked pretty good here. When I go over the roof with the drone, you'll see that there were some problems. But right here, you can see those trees are huge now. They have rubbed holes in the roof. They're growing up through the soffit and fascia on the side of the house. And the damage that they've done would be very expensive, because remember, this is all wood. This is all Dade County pine. Now, when you look at the roof had peeled off during one of those tropical storms or hurricanes. We never did anything about that. You'll see where the straps go over. On the top of the roof, there's some things to protect the roof, but there's holes, vent holes from the plumbing that were never closed up. So what those have done over the years is just let in all the rain. This is just kind of a slow approach, but you can see the holes all the way to the right, almost at the top of the gable, by the ridge there on this side. That hole lets in water every time it rains. There's another one down off the middle strap there where you see a white streak. That's another one, because there's a bathroom underneath that. They were never properly cared for over the years, so here, this summarizes it. So, and again, this was in 2021. So this is 4 years ago that I shot this video. A little close up on some of the damage. Now, it was probably more repairable damage 4 or 5 years ago. This is a little bit more of a close up around the building. Another angle. You can see the fascia on it is shot. That is aluminum siding all over the building. It is shot. There's a big hole there where the air conditioner used to be. That lets in the bees and the weather. This is kind of the last of where it was several years ago. And look at how good it looks. I'll leave you with that. Now, I shot this the other day, these photos and some video. The plywood that was over the windows has been torn off on a number of them. It's delaminated, or it's coming off the building from people trying to pull it down, vandalism basically. The window you see there has no glass in it. It looks like somebody threw big bricks or rocks through it to try to get in. That piece there, that's the laundry room on where the plywood is on the right side, but that sticks out about 8 inches. You can see in this picture now the damage that the trees have done to the building itself. As I mentioned, the wood there is delaminated. There's no aluminum siding on this side for whatever the reason is, and the wood is completely destroyed. Somebody's cut holes in the side here over the years, and it is, again, it's all access points for the weather. Now remember how small these trees were. They're pretty good size Florida holly and strangler figs. That's the door. It doesn't have a lock. It doesn't have any way to secure it anymore. I mean, a piece of plywood over it could obviously secure it. But look at the window right next to it. Again, all smashed. Just going up. I mean, that's that same opening. That's the entrance and exit for the bees. I think these pieces of plywood are the only ones that are still intact. But again, you see the wood of the building itself. It's rotting. There was no drone in this picture. I did this with my truck. But now if you look at the front of the building there, that plywood is rotten. And there's a bathroom on the other side that's in pretty bad shape from the weather coming in. I've got some interior shots that you'll see the damage in a minute or two. You know, as a carpenter, it would cost us a fortune. And then what? If we're going to spend the money, okay, so those blue spots in the top, that's outside. This is the roof from the water damage. It's fallen down. It's all plastered in the building. That's the laundry room. It is completely destroyed from the weather. That's the floor. That's the main living room, looking from the kitchen towards the master bedroom. Again, that's the roof these days. So it doesn't really just need much description. You guys can see the damage for yourself. And I wouldn't even put a number on it, I mean, on what this would take. I'm not really qualified to do that, but we haven't spent the money. What makes us think we'd spend the kind of money to rehabilitate this building? So I think that's pretty close to the end if it isn't the end. I think, yep, that's it. So, you know, tongue in cheek, when I first saw this, when I was talking to Andy, I said, we ought to make this into a project for the fire department to do some practicing on. I don't know if that's the right answer. Clearly, in my mind, we need to probably demolish the building because, like I said, it's not secure as it is to keep people out. The inside is covered in broken glass, mold, all sorts of nasty stuff. And I think we need to make a decision. If it's not tonight, we get some feedback from Russell, but I think we need to do something with it before somebody gets seriously injured in there or.
Yeah.
Serious liability.
It is
Yeah.
a serious liability. Yeah, I appreciate you bringing this up.
Hey, Bob?
I think from my perspective, what I would say is this is a historical building. I don't know if people realize this building was actually in Davie, and then in 2005 it was lifted up, and in the middle of the night it was transported. This building, along with another building, was transported to this location here in Southwest Ranches because we did have a desire to save this historical building, both of the historical buildings. One of the buildings, a number of years later, ended up burning down on its own. This one remained. I think from my perspective, to spend any money on this would be throwing good money after what's already been spent there. I don't have any desire to that. However, I would say this, that before we make a decision on demolition of it one way or the other, I think we should publicize that it's out there. And if there's any historical group in South Florida that does want to undertake this and they want to pick it up and move it somewhere else and try their hand at it, I think we should give that opportunity to do that. But I think it's a safety hazard, it's a liability, it's probably used for no good at this point.
Yeah. There's evidence of no good in there.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. And so for the safety of that community and the whole 9 yards, it needs to go. But I do think we should give that window of opportunity.
I think it's a good idea. The only thing is, like I said, health safety risk. Do we want to put some temporary fence around it just to keep people out? We could do that, yeah. Russell, any thoughts on that? I hadn't discussed it with you, just kind of
I mean, that's certainly a inexpensive option to just maybe put some plastic, orange barricade around it while we decide what we want to do with it and see if there's anybody that comes forward that wants to assist. But I think we need to look at the long-term implications of that site and, make a decision pretty soon.
Good.
Mayor, how long do you think it would take to reach out and find out if any of these historical societies are around? I mean,
I would give it
there's
like 60
hundreds of them,
days.
but
I would give it
just-
like 60 days,
Okay.
to get the word out there.
Right.
And if nobody's shown interest in 60 days, if we did that as of September, September, October, by November 1st, nobody has shown any interest in it, we can have it cleaned up and done by the end of the year.
Take further action.
Hey, Bob, did you get all the bees out?
No.
All right. Before we do anything, I think we
Yeah.
need to rescue the bees.
Well, I've been working with December
Right.
on that. I've taken 3 hives out of there. There's still 3 left. There's a beekeeper. This guy's on YouTube all the time, Bee Boys. December's worked with him in the past. I think he's the guy who took the bees out of the barn just before the anniversary party. He said he can come in and not spray pesticides, but pheromones that will scatter the bees. Because the ones I took out, there'll be more back there because it's the perfect habitat for them. So,
Yeah. And what did Andy say about an exercise for the volunteers?
he thought it was a great idea.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Isn't
So,
that how
put me
the
down
fir-
in the yes column on that one.
Right. Isn't that how the first house burnt down?
Sorry?
Isn't that how the first house burnt down?
How did the first house burn down? I'm not
A
aware.
controlled burn by the fire department? Okay.
No, it was, I don't know if it was lightning or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pablo, you may have
What
some
was
work.
it? Can December come up?
Yeah.
Yes, December, come on up, please.
Yeah, December knows the history on all this. She's been a big help for me on it.
Just what it was.
How brief can it be? The first house burned down because people were in there doing stuff in there, and there was evidence of what they did. And when it burned down, it burned part of this house as well. They were situated very close to each other. And I think the holes that you photographed on the east side were made when we were removing bees from there, and we sent a volunteer in who took the bees out, and he cut the hole out. He didn't volunteer to repatch the holes, right? So we had those holes there. And I think that the bees are probably one of the reasons why we've had less interaction from the public. So my feeling is keep the bees there until we just make this decision, and then when we know that we're going to get rid of it, then safely get them out and save them, and whatever happens to the house happens to the house. But as far as the fire department is concerned, I would be a little bit concerned because there's a lot of synthetic material inside some of that siding and stuff like that that might not be so nice to burn. Other than that,
Maybe they can give some feedback on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm also concerned that there's other.
There's a barn right next door.
There is, and I think the risk may be too high.
I think it's a good idea because I'll tell you something. On Saturday last week, I took about 40,000 bees out, and I easily left 10,000, and they were all in the air.
Yeah.
I was leaving my equipment there overnight without a worry that it was going to get stolen.
Absolutely.
Because unless you had a bee suit on, you were coming out screaming.
Yeah.
So.
Guys, based on what I'm looking at, I think we need to do something a lot quicker.
Well, Gary, it's been there for 20 years, so I don't think 60 days is going to make a huge difference.
Okay.
But we need to do something. We need to do something.
If somebody
the bees are guarding it right now for us, and they're doing a whale of a job.
I just can't conceive of anybody.
So, if you know a good realtor, it's a 2-2. It's a fixer-upper.
Cozy.
I mean, it's funny because we're discussing this on the same time that we did the Broward unsafe structure.
I know.
And also the honeybee proclamation.
I think we finally found the use.
And a bee proclamation, right?
Right.
No.
Anyway, thank you for indulging me, guys. I see it as an issue that we need to resolve one way or the other.
It's an important issue, and I appreciate you bringing it up.
Thank you, Bob.
Yep.
All right. One more discussion item.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'll be brief on this and touch on a few things. As we do still have a cone of silence on this issue, we did have a procurement for a zero waste consultant. There were 6 submittals that were received. The selection committee was put together and evaluated the 6 written proposals that we received, went through the process of basically vetting those 6, recommended that a presentation be done by 3 of the firms. That selection committee meeting for the presentations was held on August 5th. It was a publicly noticed meeting, so anybody could have attended and saw what occurred there at that meeting. And the selection committee that was chosen went through all of the proposals. Essentially, there were supposed to be 3, but we only had 2 that actually presented that day. And the selection committee unanimously selected one firm over the other. So the firm that was selected was Waste Management, or WM. And at this point, I just needed to basically announce that, which is already public record, so it's not piercing the cone of silence. But what I do need is guidance on a not-to-exceed number for a budget for us to negotiate a contract with them to bring something back to the town council. So I'll just leave it at that. We do have a cone of silence in place. We can't really talk about a lot of the aspects of the proposal or even the 2 firms that are under consideration or were under consideration. So I'll just leave it at that at this point. But I would ask council to give us direction as to a not-to-exceed number, and what we would do is bring back a negotiated contract, and then at that point, the town council could decide to either award or not award.
Can you provide any kind of
Guidance.
on what the range is that we're looking for here?
I think I'll look to Christina and to Catherine, but I believe, and just a nod or not, but I believe if we have something in the neighborhood of not to exceed of $75,000, we should probably be in a comfortable position to negotiate a contract with that.
Can she come up to the?
You want to come up to the, yeah, I believe what she said is that the range that, of proposals.
I want to
that-
get it on the record.
Yeah, I
so other
understand.
people can
I
hear.
was going to just basically reiterate it, but go ahead. The range of the proposals was somewhere between 24 to 69,000, so Christina, go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, so the range came through, the ones that are shortlisted, it's through 24 to 69K. So for the 24, that would be including the components, all the major components you would need in a zero waste plan. However, as far as actually putting, packaging together a plan that could be adoptable and have a narrative and then be used for future grant inquiries, we would need to do that or find a way to do that internally. But then some of the higher amounts, maybe into the 40s and 50s, seems like it's more reasonable to get a fully packaged plan from all the research that we did and the responses that we got back.
This point is a not to exceed number. We intend fully to negotiate with the, selected firm at this point to see if we could negotiate that cost down as much as possible. But it's a negotiation, but we would need to know what the number would be so that we could bring something back that would be palatable to the town council in terms of a budgeted number.
Just a question on this. Russell, this is budgeted or this is discretionary?
This is not budgeted at this point,
Okay.
so it would be something that would come out of unassigned fund balance
Okay,
at this point.
good. Thank you.
I would be thinking
Mayor,
65 to 70, somewhere in there.
The Zero Waste Advisory Board, they've been talking about this for a long time. I think this would greatly help their efforts on recycle, refurbishing, and so forth. The communication to the residents, I think this would greatly help them, give them more purpose
Sure.
as to what they're
Yeah,
doing, so yeah.
right. That's why, yeah, that's
Right.
why we move forward with it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, if our range goes up to 65, is that what you
69. I think,
69?
is what, yeah.
I mean, that should be our not to exceed if that's where they're coming in.
Yeah, that's why you say you're going to negotiate down. Well, if you make the range 65, then you've already negotiated down.
Yeah.
At least $4,000. So
Yeah.
I don't know. 65 to 70 is what I would be looking for.
Because we know Russell will get it down to about half that, right, Russell? He's agreeing.
You can get it down, you can get it down to half
I didn't hear what you said. I don't agree with anything.
No, your head nodded. It was good.
head nod worked great.
I do want to have Emil say something for the record as well, as far as the progress of how the numbers came up. So Emil, would you just
Yes,
allude to that?
thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members and the public. Just for transparency and for the benefit of those who might not have participated, communication was had during the budget workshop in which directive was provided by council to have this manage and handle the work from the Zero Advisory Board. Upon completing that task, then that came back to council, which is we proceeded with this. At the time, it was known, and we brought it to council attention at the time during the budget workshop that the true cost was not known. So, which is the reason why we come back to council to request that. And then now we have the authority from council to negotiate based on an act to exceed price.
So I think probably 69,000, like you said, Bob.
Make a motion then to set aside 69,000 to pay for the highest, worst-case scenario for this contract?
Yeah, I think that's, we're, again, establishing a
exceed.
ceiling, and certainly
Yeah,
if we can
not to
bring it
exceed
under,
is a
we're
better
going
way
to
to
try to
put
do
it.
that for sure.
Good.
We need to vote on this, or is this just discussion?
Why don't we
Okay.
make it a round number, guys? Like
All right.
Yeah, it's,
65 or something, instead of 69.
Well, just because the range went up to 69. I'm not,
Or 70.
like I said, they're going to negotiate from here. It's not-
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to open up to the public for
Yeah.
discussion.
Do we have a second?
Not yet.
Okay.
We'll-
And I would appreciate it if you give me a little bit of time.
Now, before you start speaking.
Everything I'm going to speak is
No, no.
public knowledge. Everything has been posted publicly on the town's website. I won't speak about.
Let me stop you before you start. We're talking strictly about the number. We're not talking about the individual potential vendors. We cannot have a discussion on that. There's still a cone of silence on that piece of it, whether it's been published or not. So we're talking strictly about the numbers. Am I correct there?
That's not what the town attorney told me. He told me this was the opportunity to share anything I had, and it's all what's posted publicly.
We have publicly posted who the recommended, proposer is going to be, based on the selection committee's, selection. So speaking on that selection, who the company is I don't believe it's breaking the cone of silence because it's already publicly stated. But if you're gonna, if we're gonna discuss, right, if we're gonna discuss the merits and which firm is better, I don't think this is not the right time.
He gave me pretty direct,
Right, I agree.
discussion on what the limit was, and he said just about the dollars.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's my position. I'm here right now. It's just about the.
I'm sorry, but that's, when my attorney tells me that this is the limit, my attorney tells me this limit, and I'm going to stick with what the
Okay, well,
attorney
your
has to
same
say.
attorney told me something different.
I don't understand why he would say that,
I will
because.
respect that, but I'm just gonna ask. I mean, you have in the past, you just did it recently in the past however many months, where you had something in a selection committee where that got changed. And there's some really important it's public information, but I get this is right now.
So we're not at that
This comes
point.
back at a point where we can speak about it.
Right.
We will get back to that
I can't
point.
speak to anybody, apparently. But Keith did tell me this was the place to have that conversation. I spoke to him. That's why I left my sister's birthday dinner to be here for this discussion item. So
I
but
apologize.
respect.
Well, we could talk in generalities, okay? And we could talk about things that we've witnessed, but
No, we're talking about the money. We're talking about the financial side. That's what this discussion is about, Jim. Jim, I'm not going to get sidetracked on this. I have strict direction from my attorney on what it is we can talk
you've got
about.
another one right here. What is he
And
saying?
he's
That's
following.
exactly what I just said.
That's correct.
Sorry, I wasn't paying well enough attention.
No problem.
But this is no bueno.
No, Hollingsworth, 199th Avenue. $35,000 and not one damn penny more.
There you go. All right. Any other public comment? Seeing none.
Mayor, can I just say one other thing?
Yeah.
So just to kind of sum this all up, so this will come back to the town council.
It will.
It will be at a public meeting. It will be
Correct.
open to the public, and that is, certainly the time for the public to weigh in and speak to whether they support or do not support the selection committee made.
And when we got to that point last time.
That's exactly when it
that
happened.
is when we made the change from one vendor to another. After this was all settled and the amount was there and the contract was there, and we decided at that point, so that moment will come. It's just not tonight. I apologize that you got other direction. I don't understand that because I had a call with Keith and he was very pointed with me on exactly what we could discuss and what we couldn't discuss. So I'm not sure how the wires got crossed. Okay.
Mayor, real quick, the 69,000 is the amount that would be a complete package, not something like the other where we'd have to do a lot to it. This would be a complete package they'd be ready to work with, correct? Yeah.
That's correct. However, the vendors have stressed that all of the prices are negotiable. That really when you do the RFP, it's like a starting point.
Right.
So, it's sort of a basis for beginning those negotiations.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right, so let's get a motion on the table.
This is a not-to-exceed number.
It is a not-to-exceed number.
So
I
it could be
expect the
much
number to.
lower.
Correct.
Okay.
And we expect it to be much lower.
Right, of course.
But we want to give them the opportunity to do their job
Right.
and negotiate a much lower number. All
I'm
right,
hearing those number, right?
all right. Do we have a motion?
I did.
Yeah.
What's the motion?
We don't have a
The
second.
motion is to begin negotiations.
Have a
with
not
an
to
amount
exceed?
of not to exceed 69,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the council on this item?
I'd like to talk at another point about our process, to understand what the legal part is and what the policy part is, so I'm a little more clear.
I would recommend a one-on-one conversation with
I
our
have
attorney.
had.
Okay.
That's why I'm bringing it here right now,
Okay.
because I'm not sure if it's policy that we can change to make it more economical and efficient for our administration, I'm all for it. If we have to do it this way because of the law, we have no choice.
Yeah, and I think it's the latter.
Well,
But we can have the discussion.
Well,
Let's not get sidetracked at the
Yeah,
moment. We got a
we'll keep this
motion
back.
and a second on the table. Any further discussion on that item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski,
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton,
Yes?
Vice Mayor Hartman.
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Right. So to your point, Bob, I do think clarification is always better. You know,
Motion to adjourn.
yeah,
Thank
we'll
you.
get into it then. You got papers.
Thank you all.